You better read that YouTubey.
Hello mortals, this is your one true god here, and yeah, I'm sorry I hadn't posted anything about this channel in a month. A lot of things have come up recently, and I know I promised to make a video about Daryl in the amphibia community, but something happened on TikTok recently that I want to address. It's from a TikTok by the name of NCHammer23. NCHammer is a well-known TikToker in the anime community with 750,000 followers. The reason why I'm talking about this guy is that he made one video replying to a comment. The comment said that isekai anime women are better written than shonen women.
Bad take, hot off the presses. Bad take, hot off the presses. Buy one, get one free. Let's go ahead and unpack this comment. And no disrespect to the original commenter, this is just an opinion they have. It's just one I don't happen to agree with. I'd like to open up this conversation by saying that isekai nor shonen have well-written female characters as a whole. But isekai is significantly worse than shonen. Let's just talk new gen stuff because that's quite literally all I have time.
Now, I'm going to cut to the end of what he said on a certain cast because that sparked a lot of controversy and backlash he got from that video.
MHA? Well, actually, I gotta give you MHA. MHA probably has the worst written women in fiction.
You know, that's a really bold-ass claim. To claim that one certain cast is the worst of all fiction? Out of every medium, every fanfic in the world, you think it's the worst of all that. Now, the reason how he thinks what makes a good female cast is kinda dumb. I'm gonna play you the rest of this video to show his reasons why I think those female casts are good compared to my hero.
For new gen shonens, let's look at Black Clover. While admittedly the strongest people in the Black Bulls are men, all of the women in the Black Bulls and in other Magical Knight squads are well written and powerful. Noelle, Charmy, and Vanessa all have individual powers and are very rarely reliant on men. And don't even get me started on Mara Leona. JJK might quite literally be the gold standard on how to write women. I genuinely think Nobara and Maki's badass moments have been better than anything any male has done in this show. And while sometimes they are relying on men, it's more of a symbiotic relationship than anything. Boruto, while it does have the worst written women in new gen, still has Sarada, who is shown to be equal in strength to both Mitsuki and Boruto a lot of the times. She was even the person who gave the pseudo killing blow to Boro.
Now, the reason why he claims those female casts are good isn't by how they are developed or written. His point is that they are strong and they are less reliant on men. Which, I don't even need to tell him this, but I thought this is a pretty obvious thing to say. From the words of the author of the Full Metal Alchemist manga, Himura Arakawa, sorry if I got the name pronounced wrong. Basically what she said about writing female characters is that you don't need to be strong or smart to be a good written female character. Or in basic terms for you, strength doesn't equal better written. So after he made that video, he decided to make a follow-up video on that, which, no joke, take a look.
One of the greatest mysteries in the anime community, to me at least, is just how large the female percentage is of the MHA fandom. And before you get it twisted and you're like, oh, Nick is saying that girls can't like anime, no. I'm just saying that, as a woman, why would you enjoy MHA? MHA has one of the most legitimately interesting possible rosters of women in all of anime. Like, there's more women in the show than maybe any other mainstream anime out there. And none of them are interesting.
So yeah, he made a video talking about how do women like MHA even though their female cast is poorly written. Which, just take a look what he said about the My Hero women.
Okay, I'm sorry. One of them is interesting. And she's dead and has been for a while. As for the rest of them, we have female Hisoka that nobody talks about. Giant mommy milkers. Also giant mommy milkers, but furry bait. Anti-gravity abilities, but somehow useless. One of the big three who can shoot lasers, and we only know her name. A genius who's never once did something genius in her whole career. Oh, and by the way, just needs to have her tits showing, because that's how her power works. A girl with a blood kink. And Froppy, who's actually dope. But come on!
There are so many problems here. Let's go over each thing and what he said about each My Hero girl.
Okay, I'm sorry. One of them is interesting. And she's dead, and has been for a while.
How does her being dead make her character bad? Even though she wasn't present, she had a huge impact in the story. And the reason why she was being dead in the first place is because she was All Might's predecessor, his mentor. She literally sacrificed her life to save All Might, and because of her, she helped All Might grew and helped inspire to be a better hero.
As for the rest of them, we have female Hisoka that nobody talks about. Giant mommy milkers.
First thing, about Midnight. She was literally the emotional crutch of Class 1A. If you actually read the manga and know what happened to her, you will understand. Because of what happened to her, it helped inspire Class 1A to be better heroes. And second, when it comes to Mount Lady, Mount Lady's character represents one of the flaws of hero society and how people do superhero stuff just for fame and money. But after the war arc, and after so many heroes have been gone, that they either quit, retired, or just died, despite all of that, Mount Lady still stood by. She still helps people because she knows that's her job of being a hero. Not to mention, Mount Lady is one of the few people who fought against Gigantama and stood a slight chance. Midnight in Mount Lady has a purpose in the story.
Also giant mommy milkers, but furry bait.
Why do you care try to make every minor character a big deal? Seriously, you act like male characters don't get that same treatment.
Anti-gravity abilities, but somehow useless.
So taking down a member of the League of Villains and, helping Deku's fight with Overhaul and learning how to do physical combat from Gunhead makes her useless. Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
One of the big three who can shoot lasers, and we only know her name.
This one scratched my head a lot, because earlier in a different video, he was praising female characters for how strong they are and has less reliant on men, but doesn't give that same praise and attention for Nejire. Yeah, sure, that makes sense, even though she was literally one of the strongest people in UA.
A genius who's never once did something genius in her whole career.
Even if you don't watch My Hero Academia, you even know how much this point doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, sure, despite her quirk, literally need to learn every single detail about the items she's creating. Yeah, sure, let's not forget the time she literally had to use her brains to win a fight against Aizawa in the midterm exam. Heck, in the licensing exam, she pretty much carried out her whole flippin' team since she literally had to use her brains to outsmart a little girl whose quirk makes her a flippin' genius.
Oh, and by the way, just needs to have her tits showing, because that's how her power works.
Don't you dare act like she only pulls out irons from her chest. Stop fucking lying.
A girl with a blood kink? And Froppy is actually dope. But
I can tell this man doesn't even watch the anime or read the manga, because if he actually did, he would know that Toga actually has a story outside of her character. Toga as a character represents one of the flaws of hero society. Ever since she was a young little girl, her parents forced her to keep her blood urges under check, because it isn't normal to their eyes, and due to her keeping her true self under wraps for several years, that made her mentally insane. Also, by the way, it's kind of funny how he did not mention Mirko, Eri, or Lady Nagan. Look, before anyone says that's its opinion, listen. You have your right to say whatever you want about the female cast. It's your opinion. It's your opinion whether or not you think they're underdeveloped or they're bad and all that. But his reasoning, his argument, why he thinks that is my biggest problem. Because in that video, he either A, gotten several things about them wrong, B, oversimplify their characters, C, ignoring their context and their development in the story, and D, trying to treat female characters like they're supposed to be an essential part. And also, the fucking question at the beginning is dumb. You really just ask how can women like My Hero Academia when women in the show are poorly written? Even though your points on why you think that's bad is wrong. But seriously, what does their gender have anything to do with their taste in quality and mediums? So you really want to know why women like My Hero Academia, even though in your opinion, they're badly written? Okay, let's ask him, shall we?
Because growing up, I was super into Marvel comics and I love superheroes. There's a lot of things about whatever that was that I could say bother me. But the one thing I'm going to focus on is there seems to be this idea that women can only or will only like things if they find the female characters to be well written or well developed or relatable. Which, like, yeah, a lot of times when we like things and we like characters, it's for one of those reasons. But there are other reasons that people like characters, that women like female characters. At the end of the day, if you think the My Hero Academia women are not well written, are not well developed, and they aren't interesting, that is purely your opinion. It's cool if you think that. I personally don't agree. I know a lot of other women don't agree. But here's the thing. Even like the female characters in My Hero Academia that I personally don't think are well written, like let's say Nejire, I still love her character and she's still one of the reasons that I love and enjoy My Hero Academia, just because I think her character is cute. And I can say something similar about every single female character in My Hero Academia. All the girls in that anime and manga are fun, they are cute, they are interesting, they have cool powers, they're superheroes, they're just cool. I like them because I like them. There are plenty of female characters in media that I think are way more well written and way more well developed that I love. I just love the My Hero Academia characters for different reasons than I love those characters. And the one thing that I always see men miss whenever they discuss this topic is the fact that all the female characters in My Hero Academia are friends. Like, do you know how important that is? It is so nice and refreshing to watch a high school anime and not have the girls be petty. The girls inspire each other, they lift each other up, they're all friends, there's no fighting about crushes, there's none of that weirdness. My Hero Academia is a really fun superhero anime and manga. Why would a girl not like it? When you like things, do you just expect to love every single character and fall in love with every character and think that every character is the most well-written masterpiece of your life? No, that's weird. And it's also super weird to ask questions like this when calling Toga just somebody who has a blood kink. Toga's whole backstory is literally about a little girl who was forced to act normal, and then because she was forced to act normal, she shoved down who she really was, and then kind of went crazy because of it. As a woman, that is super relatable. Just because there's not an earth-shatteringly well-developed or interesting female character in My Hero Academia, that doesn't mean it should be such a mystery as to why women like it. All the women in it are really cool superheroes doing really cool superhero things, and that's usually a good enough reason for most of us to like them.
First of all, if women want to watch MHA because there's hot male characters, that's okay. Guys do that all the fucking time when they watch anime. Why do you think hanime is such a big genre? Also, women don't watch anime for female characters. We watch anime for the story. Also, MHA also arguably doesn't have the worst written female characters in shonen, even in new gen shonen. So like, what are you getting at? At the end of the day, this goes back to the whole why can't women just enjoy things? What is it? Why can't we just enjoy things, regardless of what our reasoning is? Why do we have to justify it? Not to mention all the goals and aspirations for all these female characters just went absolutely over your head.
So watching this video, I have a few comments. First, there are things Horikoshi does that are misogynist that I do not agree with. The fact that Nejire does get less spotlight and less backstory than the other two big three, I do agree with that. The way Horikoshi does design the female characters' bodies, yes, it is problematic. But for you to say that none of the female characters are interesting and none of them are useful, I think you're trying to ignore it. Ochako literally saves Deku's life in the entrance exam. If it wasn't for her stopping his freefall, he would have hit the cement and died. Her fight with Bakugo had one of the most interesting technical strategies we've seen to date in the show. And we see a really cool dynamic in her growth where at first she kind of just went into it that it was a high-paying job, and then we see moments where she is jumping into the void to protect Deku from Black Whip in the war arc in the manga. So if you're not a manga reader, maybe read the manga, you might learn more about the female characters. We see just how the horrors of war have impacted her. We've also seen Momo's growth from being self-conscious in her ability to make decisions to being one of the leaders of her class, and then we also see that doubt kind of being brought back with two of her mentors being killed during the battle and how she slowly overcome that to kind of regain that strength and confidence again. Like, she's a side character, you're not going to see every tiny detail, but the things are there if you have the time to look for them. One of my favorite female characters is Mei Hatsume. The fact that she basically took over the sports festival and bended all the rules and just did it her own way and showed that she could best heroes in that. And the fact that in the manga right now, her tech is basically allowing them to have a fighting chance against Shigaraki. Like, how is that not incredible? We've seen Mina as a child standing up against a villain and how that kind of sparked her confidence to be a hero. We've seen Juro allow her music to inspire her and see that she could have best of both worlds. We've seen these moments with these characters, and either you're just not looking or you're not able to appreciate that even small details are still things that are worth appreciating. We can admit that Horikoshi is not the best at writing female characters like other shows, like Attack on Titan would be probably one of the best female writing characters I've ever seen, but to say that women are not allowed to enjoy a show if there is some problematic aspects is ludicrous.
So the point is, Nick, there was no really for you to think like that. Because just like you and me, because people can like certain things for different reasons. Even when it comes to female characters, some people don't care about their development. They can like them for their design, their personality, or their interests or hobbies. Your video is giving off the idea that women cannot like certain mediums if female characters are problematic is ridiculous and a bit misogynistic at that. So after he made that video, he got several responses and he ended up making an apology video and apologizing to the fandom, which that's good for him, taking responsibility. Then he decided to take it down and took back the apology.
You know what? No. I'm deleting the apology video. Listen, if I offended you by saying that MHA needs better written females, I don't have to apologize to you. I'm completely aware that I am not tapped into the female experience. But that doesn't mean I can't ask the question, why can't one of the biggest animes on Earth give us better female representation in their show? And I am forthright in saying that you can enjoy MHA for the male character. It's the description of the video. Any gender of people can enjoy any gender of character. It's called choice. And I'm aware there's other anime out there with poorly written female characters like Naruto. But I want better from the industry as a whole. But guess who's probably number one in the industry right now? MHA. So maybe I just want, the people with the most say in the industry to make a little positive change. Because other shows are doing it, like Black Clover, JJK, and Akame ga Kill, where women are shown as awesome and powerful as they are in real life. But somehow this is a controversial take. My bad.
Bull fucking shit, Nick. In those two videos, all you did was downplay and shit on the female characters in My Hero Academia. Nowhere did you mention that you wanted better representation for the female characters in the show. Nowhere have you mentioned that it wouldn't be better for the industry. The people, including me, responding to your video were pointing out how you got several things about the characters wrong. Saying dumb shit like Momo never did anything smart, or Rocket is useless, or Toga is just a girl with a blood kink is objectively wrong. Nick, let me ask you something. If your intent was that you want better female representation, why didn't you mention it in your videos? You didn't, because that wasn't your intent. You just say that shit just to get some people got out of your ass. Because in those videos, you were downplaying a huge majority of the My Hero Academia fandom, giving the intent that women can't like certain mediums if their women aren't that well written. You may think you didn't, but you did. You have the balls to act like you're the good guy in this whole situation when you aren't. Look, I do agree, they're not groundbreaking. I think they're average. Do I wish they had more development and more time to shine? Yes, but I am not one of those people who believes it's one of the worst of all fucking fiction. At the end of the day, I think we can all agree on one thing. Nick does not understand female characters and what people like about them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, comment, like, and subscribe. Until then, see you later, mortals.